Good morning, it's Wednesday. I'm excited you've joined me today. We're talking about rejection, happiness again. I'd like to start today by sharing with you just a few things I'm happy about and grateful for, because this is the practice that will move you toward greater degrees of happiness and profound experiences of peace in your life. This morning, I was very grateful for my dogs, actually. My male dog, I have two dogs, and one of them is new, a retired Pharaoh hound from competition. And first thing in the morning, when she would hear someone stir, and that's just roll over, get up and get out of bed, she would run to the bedroom and say, "Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning." You know how dogs do that. And my male dog would just lay in bed. If you walked into the living room, he might lift his head. He would definitely open his eyes, but he wouldn't move at all. So about 4 or 5 days went by when we first got our new dog. And it turns out that she now stays in bed just like he does. So I'm happy because my dogs are teaching each other the ways in which they can behave in and around our family. And so what's true about this, right? What's true about the dogs teaching each other is that not only is she learning from him, but he's learning from her. So when it's time for dinner, she bounces around like a pogo stick. Actually, his name is Pogo. And she's bouncing around while I'm carrying their food dishes. And I've been feeding them outside because there's less mess that way. But what's funny is that he's been seeing her bounce around, trying to express her happiness and joy at getting food. And also she's trying to look in the bowl, right? It's really funny. He started bouncing around. And that's not a behavior I want to promote. So I've asked him to calm down, and I've asked her to calm down. I kind of get her the food quicker so that she's not bouncing around so much. But what is the truth in this? The truth is we mimic behaviors that we see. We learn behaviors that are modeled for us, and it's happening with my dogs. And I'm very grateful for them and grateful for the lesson they're teaching me in this situation where we see things and then we adopt those behaviors from others around us. So what has that got to do with resistance? That has everything to do with it because as babies, and I'll start just from the beginning, as babies, our nervous system is seeking to be stimulated. And, you've heard the stories about the Romanian babies who were only fed and their diapers changed, but the children were mostly left to themselves and they did not thrive, right? So the nervous system is seeking stimulus. It's seeking to learn. It desires that. That's the way it's wired. That's the way it's designed. And if it doesn't get that, it begins to shut down. And that's the same with happiness and other feelings that you are trying to experience. But if there's something in your life that you resist, you can't just resist this one thing that you're trying to resist. You end up resisting across the board. And when you resist across the board, because that's the way we're wired. We're either wired to be receiving or we're wired to not receive. And while we're trying to be specific about what we're resisting, it turns out that it doesn't work that way. You end up resisting things that are good for you. And so my oldest son tends toward a less happy, a more pessimistic state of existence and thoughts and feelings. And when I express love, when I express gratitude, when I express appreciation to him, he's actually rejecting it. because he is resisting based on his belief. And his belief is that he doesn't deserve it, that he's not good enough to receive my love or the love of another person. So even though I'm generous and kind and loving toward him, because he doesn't believe first that he deserves it, he ends up resisting it. And that creates a resistance of happiness just in general in his life. So I encourage you, spend time writing down things you're grateful for. And when something comes up that you feel a resistance toward, write that down too and notice what it is you're resisting and the pattern that creates in your life, because you end up resisting even the good things. And it makes it more difficult to express gratitude. It makes it more difficult to sit in your 2 minutes of meditation a day. And it makes it more difficult to move your body for 10 minutes every day. And these are the foundations of your path to deep, profound happiness. So I encourage you, think head wise, feel heart wise, move body wise, and open your heart.